Hi, Joe Cerrone here with part 3 of our landscape drawing. We left off with putting in the pool and the blocks for the landscaping, and what we're going to do now is we're going to go through and we're going to put in the hatch patterns for the gravel and the driveway. And they really don't give us the dimensions for the locations of that. It's sort of by eye. And so we'll do that. And then we can go through and add some of the other bushes and things like that. But essentially, we're just going to complete this drawing. And then we can add some of the annotation and put that onto our title block. As far as some of the other things like the civil drawing units and things like that, I think we'll save that for another video for an actual drawing with surveyor units. So for this drawing, what we're going to do in this video is to create the hatch patterns and some of the labels, and then we'll wrap that up with a few additional blocks for shrubbery. Switching back to AutoCAD. We'll start with the pool, and what I'll do is I'm just going to go to layer 0 and I'm going to create a line, and coming off of the pool area there, it just comes off even here and then it kind of slopes. And if you're like me, your arc might not have cleared the tree, and so what I'll do is I'll move it. I'll just click on it with a grip and I'll move that, and then I'll add a 3-point arc to kind of bring that around, and I'm just going to see how close I can get that to be tangent. And so this is going to encompass the hatch area, and when we use the boundary hatch it will fill that. And so what we'll do then is we'll take a look at our instructions, and we'll just go back a page, and it says use the gravel hatch pattern with a scale of 96 on that. Hatch command, all hatch patterns, scroll through and find gravel, select the scale 96, hover, and place that. I'm going to do that again. Kind of when my computer hiccuped. So we go back to the hatch command, find our gravel hatch pattern, set our scale pattern, and then when you bring it onto the screen it'll automatically bring that in. And what the scale does is it allows you to kind of change it. And so if I say, well, those rocks are a little too big, I'm going to bring them down. You can do that. Let's leave them at 96. But that demonstrates how that works. You can also use some transparency options if you want to put something. Oftentimes what I'll do, let me take this out, is I'll use a solid pattern for a color. Let's say we're going to make this orangish color, and I'll put in a solid fill, and it's not giving me the color I thought it would, so let me grab it here. There we go. And then what I'll do is I'll do another hatch pattern on top of it, and so I can come back to my hatch command, and then I can go get my gravels. Oops. And then it looks like somehow it went to the center of that, so let's do that again. And let's change this to black. And let's see. There we go. And then that's great. I'll say OK. And so that's kind of a technique I like to use when I do architectural type drawings, where I'll add some colors to the background. Sometimes you'll have to work with the draw order of some of your images to be able to get those to work right, bringing things to the front or to the back. But it's a nice technique. You can also use that for putting images into a drawing, where you could take a bitmapped image like a JPG file. For the driveway, we're going to make that set with a herringbone pattern, and I'm just going to use this same black, and they kind of scotch this area here, so I'll do the same thing. I'll just get an arc, and I'll use a nearest point to attach that to this line and just kind of bring that out. And it looks like my colors are overriding, so let's go back to bilayer, 3-point arc, nearest, and then I'll just kind of bring that down. And we'll just bring this out. And we'll bring this down. And if I really want to, I can click on this and kind of scotch it in a little bit, because it's not quite tangent. And that's what I like about AutoCAD. It's got these grips that you can really kind of push and pull. If it's not, something that's going to be for mechanical engineering where every number has to be exact, I can go and work with it. And so I'll go to my hatch pattern, and it still has the gravel pattern, and it's kind of flowing into, I noticed it flowed into this other area. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that this is closed off by putting a line there. And we'll try it one more time, getting the herringbone pattern. And the scale is just huge on it, so it's not, so we'll go back and we'll put this at a scale of 4, and then we'll try it again. And again, my hatch pattern is escaping, and so there's got to be a leak in it somewhere. And so what I'll do is I'll just make sure that these lines are closed off. Sometimes the best way to do it is with a fillet, and so I'll fillet this with a radius of 0. And then we'll try that again. There we go. Okay. And then the rest of it would be to add pool and driveway. You can put in the word first before you put the hatch pattern on, and then it will hatch around it. Just one more thing. Switching back, we'll come in here, and we use text, multi-line text, and I'll just put a little box in here, and I'll write the word pool. And you can do all kinds of things with centering it and like a word processor, but I prefer to just move it. And then if we wanted to take a look at our other annotation on the drawing, we can add some of these other text things like driveway and some of these bushes, but I don't think it's necessary to put some of the other aspects of it. I think we'll put the lot block on it, and then we'll wrap this video up. Switching back to our drawing, we can come in here, And I'll write the word driveway. I'll put a little box in here. Driveway. I think that's fine. It's readable. And then if we go down to the other text, if we want something a little bit smaller, we can come in here and we can say multi-line text, and we can put in this box, and then I can bring this down to 1 foot. And you have to remember that the text is scaled according to the dimension scale. So we'll say lot 11, comma, block 7. And let's see, how do I spell it? D-A-M-S-T. Number 3, City of Flathead, Oregon. And close it off. If I spelled that wrong, let's just check. Somebody will say D-A-M-S-T-R-A-A-T. Looks good to me. Close the text editor. And then lastly, we're going to put this onto a title block. And so what I'll do is I'll click on the architectural title block. And then if I double click in the viewport, I can see I've got it set at 1/8 of an inch equals a foot. It's perfect. I'll cut out this text instruction. I don't need it. You'll notice I can double click. I'm on the title block. Double click. I'm in the viewport. And so what I want to do is I want to lock in that scale. And now that the scale's locked in, it won't change. And then I can come in here, add my annotation. The scale is 1/8 of an inch equals a foot, not a quarter. So we'll come in here and we'll fix that. And today is July 9th. Be sure to put your name on it. And I'm going to take this out. It's just an image. And then as far as this goes, I think we'll double click on that. And this is what's known as an attribute. And so we'll change that to Flathead, Oregon. And we'll change the scale to 1/8 inch equals a foot. Is that right? Yes, it is. Alright. Save the drawing. As far as having all the dimensions on it, if I want to unfreeze that dimension layer, I can do that. But I can check this when I grade the drawings. So let's leave that off. Let's leave this as sort of a presentation drawing of how this house plan is going to look. I realize there's some vertical lines and some geometry that seems to have gotten lost in the video, but I did demonstrate those, and so I'm not going to go back through. But this would complete the drawing. We'll do a save as, and I'll save this as my initials, and we'll call it Lab 5, and I think we'll call it Lab 5 Site Plan. And I will save it to my desktop. And that completes this lab.